like to call the special regular meeting of council to order for 27th of January 2022 at 5:07 p.m. Can I have an approval of the agenda? Councilor Colbert, Councilor Wong, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Councilor, I was just going to announce that we have Councilor Valentino, Councilor Prue on Zoom. In the council chambers, we have Councilor Wong, Councilor Colbert, Councilor McMurdo, Councilor Ellsworth, Deputy Mayor Lundmark, and myself, Mayor Smook. Thank you. Our meeting today is on bylaws. 2.1 is the first reading of bylaw 2017-2022, organization and procedural bylaws. Resolution 2022-012, moved by Councilor Wong, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lundmark. Be it resolved that bylaw 2017-2022, being a bylaw of the City of Thompson to govern the organization of the City of Thompson and the committees thereof, and to regulate the proceedings and conduct of the council and the committee thereof, be introduced and read a first time. Will do administration.
Sure. The current bylaw, there's currently two bylaws, one for organization, one for procedures for the city. These received third reading on October of 2020. And at the time, council was exploring separating those two bylaws into two separate ones, and amalgamated a number of committees to try to work that and see how that would work. Within months, there were questions from council about how effective it was, and it felt that the meetings were very difficult to run because of the amount of information that was on the agendas. Throughout the summer, the city reached out and enlisted the help of the MSOs, municipal service officers. They came to Thompson in this October of 2021 and met with council to discuss governance models and the different models that are used around the province. After that, the council asked the administration to look at different models that are out there, report back, and it's one of them specifically being the committee of the whole model. Administration worked on that, and then when Mayor Smook, Councilor Ellsworth, and Councilor Valentino were at the AMM meetings, as along with myself, we met with a number of other civic leaders and discussed their models and found that a number of them also used the committee of the whole. That information was brought back to council, and council asked administration in November to draft up a draft organ procedures bylaw that would model the committee of the whole system for consideration. So administration did that, brought it to council on December 8th, which was reviewed in camera and recommended that it go for first reading. Council had some time for consideration, and then I believe we were directed at our last in-camera meeting to bring that forward to the regular meeting of council, or special regular meeting of council this evening, and then for second and third reading on the 31st of January.
Thank you. We are going to also do as we did at the last meeting. Everybody is going to get a chance to speak twice. So your opening statements, and we will close with Councilor Wong as he is the one that has moved the bill. So with that being said, I'll go to Councilor Wong to make any opening comments.
Well, this is the first reading. I'm not going to spend too much time for debate. And I'm going to pass my first comment to you guys first, and then I'm going to do the closing. Thank you.
Thank you. And yes, that's thank you for reminding us that this is the first reading. This is to get it out in the public so we can talk, that we can get comments back, and go from there for our second and third. And if the second reading Monday for sure, and if everybody's in agreement, we'll also have the third. So thank you. Do I have any councillors that wish to speak first? Deputy Mayor Lundmark.
I appreciate what's put into this. And I've gone through it back in December and then again yesterday and today. The only thing that I saw was in 8.7, it says he shall call instead of they shall call. Other than that, the intent of it and the idea of moving forward as a committee as a whole, it's a great idea to me. Look forward to trying it and getting back to our regular meetings. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Colbert.
Well, this is something that I didn't support. I don't think I'll be supporting it anyhow, don't matter. But it's the third time in 3 years we got different committee structures. You know, when is this council going to learn that, you know, when it's not working? Don't keep trying something out different all the time? Well, I don't think that's right. It's the third time, hey, I'm willing to try, but I'm gonna be watching, because it's probably end up like the city manager said, like the last one, it didn't work. Thank you. I won't need a second thing, please.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Councilor McMurdo.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Mayor Scoop. Well, as Councilor Wong has said, it's the first reading, so I'm not going to get too into depth into the debate. I think our CAO has kind of outlined some of the benefits that might be conferred with this committee as a whole with the regular Monday night meetings. Some of the elimination of redundancies to free up our administration's time to work productively for our citizens and taxpayers. I share some of the concerns, I guess, of Councilor Colburn of I've only been here for 15, 16 months and we're reorganizing again, but I don't think that because something didn't work in the past that you don't keep trying to improve that model. And as our CEO has said, this seems to be something that works in other municipalities across the province. So thanks. I'll be supporting this and look forward to second and third reading debate.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Crew.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to this new model for us, and I think it will be a lot more attractive for future councillors also that are considering to run, as it'll be a little bit more flexible with time, or more of a strict schedule, I guess, but it won't be as spread out throughout the week. So I myself am looking forward to it, and that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Valentino.
Thank you, Mayor Smook. Yes, I'll be supporting this also. This has been a long time coming. When this council first recognized to make some changes with the amalgamation of committees in October of 2020. So I think we're working hard to try and improve our process. As CAO mentioned, the AMM convention where we did reach out to other cities, and I did suggest to my council colleagues that you have the opportunity to speak to any municipal colleagues if you want to see how it's working for them. So I will keep the rest of my comments for the second and third reading as due process, but I will be supporting this and I look forward to it because I think we have a lot of great things ahead of us finishing off this term. So thank you.
Yeah. Councilor Elder.
I've got a question, Madam Mayor, first before I make a few comments. What will the community involvement look like with the committee of whole versus the standing committees that we have in the organizational procedures now? What will it look like?
Okay.
The current bylaw or procedures, organization procedures have standing committees, and then from those standing committees, council is able to appoint members of the public to sit on those committees. In the current one, as it is set up here for the regular meetings of council, in the committee of the whole, there's no involvement from the public in those. Those are made up entirely of members of council. Council can strike task force, and on the task force can invite members of the public. It can be made up entirely of members of the public, a combination of members of public and council, or whatever combination of expertise wants to be brought in, as well as the public can be engaged through invitations to present to council or appearances as delegations.
Yes.
So I'll continue, Madam Mayor. When I decided to run for elections for city council, I knocked on a lot of doors in Thompson. I was elected by the people for the people. One of the biggest things I heard as we knocked on the doors was the citizens want to have more involvement in the city, be able to share their ideas or whatever. Yeah, you can invite them on the task force, but we had a forum where people got involved, they came. Some people was actually on some of those committees for years. Now, I guess we'll be writing them a letter or letting them know that they're no longer, their services no longer required at this point in time. The committee is, oh, unless there's something that really comes up, we call them in. I cannot agree to that, will not agree to that. I believe it was Councillor Coburn who said, this is the third time we reviewed the organizational procedure, and I think the mandate is at least minimum of one term that we would review it. It's our third time. I don't know if that means 3 times and you're out, Madam Mayor. If it doesn't work, I question where does we go from there if that happens. Meetings that normally would last from 1 hour to 1.5 hours in standing committees, I would suggest it's probably going to take us 3 to 4 hours to get at least started. That might get fine-tuned eventually, but it's going to be. I did an audit on the attendance of all standing committees after asking the city, and they didn't do it, so I did it myself. And the information came straight off the City of Thompson website of the meetings that was posted. The attendance rate, which I do have those results, was outrageous. Now we're looking at going to 3 to 4 hours. And you think it's going to work. I'm hoping it's going to work. I will not support it because I think those of us that attended meetings, whenever they were called, were loyal to it. And I've got that record as well. So I have a very difficult time when you don't involve the community as you should. And when I'm saying as you, I mean city. And with the issues in the last 2.5 years, I think that if we had to put our foot down and said, you have to come to the meetings, and particularly those committees that we had counselors assigned to it. I don't know if you can really force someone to come to something they're not assigned to, but on behalf of the citizens of Thompson, you would think they'd come to get the information at least. I struggle with this, as the city manager stated when we were at the AMN, we had an opportunity to talk to people, and I heard some good things about the community, though I'll be the first to say that. I think my reluctance is not that it can't work, is the fact that our past record doesn't show it will work. And again, I hope I'm wrong. But now we're going to go according to this bylaw, it's gonna be all night, basically meetings. Whereas sometimes it was starting in the morning to sometime in the afternoon. So there was no consideration to those that did attend before that. So it may work out for those that only can come at nighttime. I'm going to leave it at that because we will have an opportunity to debate. I did go through, just so you know, I did go through this bylaw during the weekend for the 2nd or 3rd time. I highlighted a few things that possibly might need some changes, but I will leave that until the 2nd reading. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Wong, did you want to speak now? All the other councillors have had their first.
I do the closing anyway, right?
Pardon?
Or you want me to?
It's up to you. You can do it if you want to wait until the closing.
I think I pretty much heard everybody spoke, right? So I don't have much to say like the first reading, so I just asked for the recording. Thank you. Thank you.
Did we have anybody else that wished to speak again? Deputy Mayor Clement?
I think Councillor Ellsworth brought up a good point. I think that can be both ways. Like with the committee of the whole, I'm looking forward to the idea that I did not attend all the meetings, but I attended a lot of the committee meetings, and some of them that you attend, we had to hear the same information multiple times, right? And that's fine, because there's more time for debate. And before it came to a council meeting, I really appreciated that. But it made the next meeting a little less onerous when you review it a few times. So like in Public Works, we'd have a discussion of a certain item, and then it would go to Finance and Liga, and we discuss it again. And then it would come to in camera and we discuss it again. So I'm hoping that would reduce that redundancy a little bit, but I know that one of the things I will miss is hearing from staff at those committee meetings, and I'm sure we'll have them at the committee of the whole. But we also have fewer city representatives to speak to right at the committee at the meeting. To alleviate that, I think that us councillors could reach out to some of those people that were on those committees and ask them further ideas on those things as well. And that may be one of the ways that we could bring them back in and get information from them if they discuss it with council. And I know that's another thing to add on, but I'm just hoping that we don't lose that part of it. And I think we have to keep that in mind going forward. If we are going forward with this, just to make sure that we touch base with some of those community members that were on part of those committees. And we can still engage them on larger items when we need their advice. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor McMurdo?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Smook. I just wanted to touch on a couple of things. First, with respect to community involvement, Councillor Ellsworth is right that the new organizational bylaw will eliminate, I guess, the citizen representation on standing committees, but I'm not sure if our CA pointed out that all these meetings will now be broadcast, taped and broadcast for the public to consume and be aware of, I guess, the proceedings that go on here. And I think that there's been an uptick in viewers since our regular meetings have been taped and broadcast for the community. So that was one point. And as far as the committee meeting attendance goes, I think Councillor Prue mentioned that with this schedule, I think it'll open the door for wider participation, and not just amongst maybe current councillors that have the demanding day jobs, but in the future and attract from a larger pool of talent in our community, and not just be a council of maybe business owners or retirees. So those are a couple points I want to make. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Ellsworth?
I want to touch on a couple points in closing for this part of it. The deputy mayor mentioned, and he's not wrong, about some of the repetition in committees information. You'll always get some piece of that, but for the most part, you had directors of each department, whether it be safety, rec, public works, whatever. And sometimes staff that sat in on those meetings that brought some very important information to us. That's not repetitive, that's different departments. It's kind of hard to ask for that if they're not in the meeting. Some things pops up during meetings that you normally wouldn't have thought about, but now they're no longer there, so it delays the process as well. So I believe that is very important. Now we're actually separating the mayor and council and the administration by doing this, in my opinion. And that's a big issue. And I'll elaborate probably in the future a little bit more on that. I think that's a big loss to us. Regards to viewers, well, I can tell you, I know churches out there that has congregations of maybe 75 people, is having 2,000 now because people can see it. It's a good thing. There's the bad thing. If we're in the chamber and I'm debating with you, I can talk to you. I can look across the room, I can see your body language or whatever, and I can have an healthy debate. When it comes to community involvement, I'm glad people are watching it. They need to watch it to see what's happening at City Hall and the decision we make. That's important. But they don't get to have a say. They're not getting to have a say. I'm not going to name the names tonight. You've got some long-term people who added great value to some of the stuff. Certainly myself as a councillor coming in, I don't know every department and all the makeups of every department, but some of those people from our community who understood that, who's been around for a long time, they're now viewing it. They can't participate in the way they normally would have. By we going out and advertising in the citizen, bringing people in. And some of them, like I said, was long-term. I'm gonna miss those people because in many times when I was making a decision as a counselor, someone might have triggered something or added something. I might have asked a question and they were able to answer that even better sometimes in our own administration because of their own businesses that would help to guide and direct us as a council to make good decisions when we're passing resolutions. And I see a lot being lost when we go to the committee of one. The only thing I see in this, as a committee of the whole is this. There'll be one meeting every 2 weeks. Everything will be piled into the one meeting. So with all the issues we got with safety in this community, I wonder how much safety will get on the agenda. And there's a lot of questions that will be unanswered because time will not allow for it. Whereas versus we could have done that and to the deputy mayor's point about repetition, the nice thing about standing committees was this. If I missed something in one of the other committee meetings, and sometimes it could have been asked in another committee that we could have moved forward on. Don't have that no more. That'd be gone. So thank you for my time that I've had, Madam Mayor. And whether it's a show of hands or not, I do hope that it works. And certainly that's a good thing. I'm not here hoping that it doesn't work, but I certainly can't support it based on what I've talked about. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak for their second time? Councillor Valentino.
Thank you, Mayor Smook. Just a few final comments for me in regards to the public. The public always has a say. If this reaches out to more public and more viewers, then they are having more of a say. The public always has the opportunity to reach out to a counselor at any time, so they will have a say. We've ran with these committee reps, the community reps, and we don't have a lineup of applicants. So hopefully this gets more involvement from the community as a whole with the recorded committee in the whole meetings every other Monday. If we get more viewers, then it is being effective. Then we are reaching more of our community, and that's what needs to happen. I also think in regards to attendance, this will improve the attendance of this council, and it definitely does not separate us from our administration. By meeting with our administration every other Monday to deal with the issues from their department that will be on the agenda is bringing us closer together. I look forward to this, and I'll refrain from the rest of my comments at the debate on Monday night. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Wong, did you want to make it your just recorded vote?
Thank you for asking.
All right. And Councillor Colburn, you said you didn't have. any
I'm okay till next meeting.
So,
You're
that's
on.
okay, because there is, after the second reading, then there will be more chance.
We understand.
and we'll hear, okay? Before I call for the vote, I'll just say, I am a supporter of committee as a whole. I do believe one of my things was just watching over in November, December, all of us council getting together to talk over something. It seemed having us all in the same room at the time that we could actually get together, and we came out of those meetings with some definitely good ideas that may have got lost if we were separated. So that is one of the things that I did find that us as council did work together. The ability for the public to interact is definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye on. But as said, I do believe we will have more people when we have regular first and third, second and fourth meetings, that people will get into a rhythm, and we'll be watching, and for sure they will be reaching out to us with after. The citizen reps definitely was nice, but as it's mentioned, it's very hard to get them. And some of them have been on the committees for years, for many years. So it hasn't really given a lot of the other persons, like, not that they were banging on our door, but a chance to serve. And I definitely look forward to working with some of those been on the committees for a lot of years. We still, nothing stopping us running stuff by them. And the attendance, I think, just having regular meetings, I really do think that the attendance is going to be good. So I would, with that, I would like to call for the question, and there's definitely the opportunity, and even for the public that are viewing this, the opportunity to get a hold of us before Monday night and express your concerns, questions and that. And we now have the document is out that we can go through with you. So with that, I'll call for the question, and Councillor Wong has asked for a recorded vote. So those in favor of this bylaw?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
So in a recorded vote for favor, I've got Counselor Prue, Counselor Valentino, Deputy Mayor Landmark, Counselor McMurdo. Okay, and opposed, I've got Counselor Colburn, Counselor Ellsworth, and Counselor Wong. If we'll proceed to the second. Oh, Mayor Smook is in favor, I'm sorry. And we will proceed to the second reading Monday night. Thank you, everybody, and call for adjournment. Counselor Colburn, Counselor McMurdo, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you very much. See you Monday.
You got a minute?
No, just wait.